Now we are on to the next lesson, journaling. This is a big one, everyone. And take a look at this quote here. It's such a great quote. Keep a notebook. Travel with it. Eat with it. Sleep with it. Slap into every stray thought that flutters into your brain. Jack London. Great quote here. I really do believe in this because, journaling saved my life and has probably saved many other people's lives. It's such a great mental health tool. So let's get a little bit into the lesson here, okay? So from Beethoven to Lady Gaga and Emma Watson and back to Winston Churchill, all of these individuals kept journaling dear to them. In fact, essential to them. If it weren't for their personal journal, they might have gone crazy. So, it goes to say that journaling has been a huge influence in my life. It's not only an influence that has kept me sane, but a way for me to innovate and sort my thoughts. It can for you too. I can just dump everything that is in my mind on a daily basis down on paper. Literally on paper. In this lesson, I'll fill you in on some of the strategies and reasons why you should adopt journaling as one of your core habits. When starting a journal, even if you don't initially know what to write about, once you actually sit down with that pen and touch the tip of it to the piece of paper, your ideas, thoughts, and feelings you may have right now will just start dumping out right onto the piece of paper. Why is this beneficial to you when becoming a lifelong learner? Well, you take in shitloads of information every day. Specifically because you're an avid reader. If you're reading 20 plus pages per day, wow, that's a lot of information. On top of that, you've got other experiences that you're doing in your life. You've got work, you got your family, you got school, whatever it may be. You've got everyday concerns to take care of. Life can get extremely stressful, but even when it's not, you still will have thoughts rolling around in your mind. Actually, that may be when most of the thoughts roll around in your mind when you're not really doing anything. And that's also when the most creative thoughts will be rolling around in your mind. So you need to get that out. Journaling is a way for you to sort out all the information and feelings you experience from day to day, whether they're good or bad. One of the best things I've got from journaling is that, occasionally you will be able to use your thoughts you've written down in your journal for side hustles, for innovative, for content creation, anything like that. And you will be able to use that to your advantage. If you're still in school, you could even use it for the studies that you do. And even if you can't immediately use your thoughts you write down, you may be able to use them at a later date. Most successful people use their hindsight to their advantage, and those who do not will fail. Adult life can be tough and lonely sometimes. That's one of the most important reasons for having a journal, because it's like having a friend. You can openly share every secret hidden in your mind, begging to be let out without having to worry about judgment. Here's an example of why journaling is so important. It's from my own life, and to be honest, it's actually quite personal. I wasn't really willing to share this with many other people in the past, and I really haven't, except for the people closest to me, my wife and one of my closest friends. my parents. Like, I've shared this with just closest people to me. So now I'm sharing it with you. So hopefully you can learn a little bit from it. So this incident happened way before I started working heavily on this course. But actually, it's not too distant of a incident. So around the end of 2018 through the first half of 2019, I started experiencing some terrible problems. And I want to tell you about my suffering and how I overcame it. If you can relate to this story, then you'll know you aren't the only one. And if you can't, at least you'll have some knowledge about how to deal with this situation if it ever does come up in your life, or someone you know, maybe you can help them out. At the time, I had no idea that anything was wrong with me. I had no idea what was wrong with me. I had never experienced what I experienced before, and the symptoms were very similar to a heart attack. I'll explain the story so you can relate to it as best as possible. Okay, so here we go. Late one night, after working on a book review until about 1 a.m., knowing that I had to work the next day at 7 a.m., I was pretty exhausted. I quickly but groggily went to the bathroom to take a shower before jumping in bed, all the while feeling like an impending fatal accident was about to happen. It felt like I was driving a car at high speed, knowing that an inevitable collision was going to hit and kill me. After taking the shower, I jumped in bed quickly to get close to my wife. I was shivering, scared, and my chest was tightening up. My arm had actually started to prickle and become numb. I tried telling myself that I'll be okay, just breathe. I'm just tired. But the symptoms actually started to become worse. As soon as I started drifting off, tightness shot through my chest, up to my throat. This is not normal. This is a heart attack, I thought. After 2 hours of trying to unsuccessfully sleep, yes, I was laying there for 2 hours. I shook my wife and told her that I wasn't feeling well. I think I'm having a heart attack, I told her. My chest hurts. It's extremely tight and I'm short of breath. My left arm and hand became numb. These things are signs of heart attack, aren't they? I've never had a heart attack, so I didn't know, honestly. She was obviously worried, so we decided to rush off to the hospital early in the morning. To make a longer story short, the doctors did tests on my heart. They took blood to test it. My heart was fine, they found out, but they still had no idea what was wrong. So they kept me over one night. Actually, they wanted to keep me over too, but I refused because they said they couldn't find anything wrong. After checking out of the hospital, I did some research into why I was having these symptoms and what they were. And nothing was wrong with my heart. It turns out that all these symptoms were that of a person with anxiety, an anxiety attack. I couldn't believe the doctors couldn't tell. Well, this is Indonesia, so it's possible they had never experienced these cases before, but I highly doubt it. I also couldn't believe that I was having a heart attack. I thought I was having a heart attack. Well, after I realized what my problem was, I was easily able to find a solution. The solution was within me. All I started to do after that was writing in my journal more often about the true causes of my attack. It's amazing how one piece of knowledge can totally change your perspective, approach to life, and feelings. Here's what I discovered from journaling. I was working myself too hard and not making progress because my focus was in the wrong place, focusing on the metrics rather than the results, focusing on the social media following, how many likes, how many followers, like all these little details that actually really don't even matter that much in the end. I wasn't focusing on the most important task first. I was giving priority to tasks that should have been lower on the totem pole, such as creating a social media post. I had no idea where my business was going, and I was stressing myself out about it constantly. What I really lacked was clarity in the direction that I wanted to take this brand. And because I was lacking clarity, it made me stressed because I knew there was something wrong, yet I didn't know how to fix it. I wasn't making time for my family or myself to relax. It was constant go, 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 only leaving less than an hour per day with my wife and child. Spending time with people that you love is actually one of the most important things in your life. Yet I took it for granted. I wasn't expressing all my feelings and stress with my wife. I was just getting angry and frustrated at my own slow progress, and at times I was taking it out on her. But it was no other person's fault than my own. It's much better to completely be open, whether it's with someone you trust or written in your journal, than to let feelings build up inside of you and not let them out. Therefore, by writing all my thoughts down in my journal and sharing my feelings with my wife, I was able to actually see with my own two eyes what I needed to fix. So I would never make the same mistake again and never have an anxiety attack again. My life has been much, much better since then, much more organized and much more balanced. I gained more clarity in the direction that I was heading after starting to journal more regularly. My big goal was becoming clearer and closer because of clarity. Because of journaling, I've become happier and have made more time for myself and my family to relax together. One of the best things I've noticed about journaling, on top of getting emotions down on paper, is the fact that brilliant ideas start to flow a lot easier. And I mentioned this before. There are many ideas stuck up in your noggin that are begging to be let out. And the only way for you to unleash these ideas is to put them down on paper. Then put them into a plan and use them. Here's an example from Benjamin Hardy, PhD, who wrote an article about journaling on Medium, which includes a rocking list of benefits of journaling. So here's the list right here. You can see journaling optimizes your creative potential. Journaling accelerates your ability to manifest your goals. Journaling creates a springboard for daily recovery. Journaling generates clarity and congruence. Journaling clears your emotions, reducing scattering in your life, increased focus, greater stability, a deeper level of learning, order, action, and release, holding thoughts still so that they can be changed and integrated, releasing pent-up thoughts and emotion, empowerment, bridging inner thinking with outer events, detaching and letting go of the past, allowing you to re-experience the past with today's adult mind. Journaling ingrains your learning. Journaling increases your gratitude. Journaling unfolds the writer in you. Journaling records your life history. So if you want to take a look at that full article, there's a link. So just click on that link and you'll be able to read the full article. You've got proof, not only from me, but also from credible sources, that journaling is a highly effective way to sort out everything in your life from work to play. If you're interested in diving deeper into the benefits of journaling, then I highly recommend taking up Stoic journaling or reading anything about Stoicism. There's a few books that I do recommend by Ryan Holiday. One, Stillness is the Key, which develops your journaling abilities, even though the book is actually not focused on that, but I highly recommend reading that book. The other one is Ego is the Enemy, which doesn't necessarily specifically talk about journaling, but it really helps you to see how your ego affects your life and other people's life around you. So, if you're still confused on how you should go about starting your journaling journey, here are some suggestions on how to start. If you have never journaled before, or even if you have, sometimes it's hard to sit in front of a journal and start writing because, honestly, sometimes you just don't know what to write about, and other times it'll just flow from you so easily. In the case that it does take a lot of time to start, that it's a little bit harder, which I know will happen, here are my suggestions. If you're having a problem with starting, I recommend just beginning your entry with, I don't know what to write about. And then the words will just start flowing. Honestly, just try it. Write for 5 to 10 minutes straight without stopping for too long, except for maybe to rest your hand if you need to. Longer if you want to. You don't have to stick to any time obligations, but just to pick a number and try to stick to that, then that is a good way to start. Okay? There's no set rule. So yeah, just follow with what makes sense to you. Okay, and pick a comfortable and private place to write your journal. So you probably don't want people staring over your shoulder or to be in a really loud atmosphere. You might be at your nook in your house or on the balcony or maybe on your sofa or at your desk at home. Somewhere comfortable where you feel like you have privacy. Okay, start approximately the same time and location every day if you can. It can be in the morning, afternoon, evening, or night, whichever one is best for you. If you can, never miss more than one day. If you decide to do this every day, that is. You don't need to do journaling every day, actually. You could do it once a week. That's about how often I do it. Okay, I do it once a week or twice a week, maybe. If you do it every day, if you miss 2 days in a row, just be sure to jump back on the habit the next day to continue the momentum, to continue progress. This applies to any habit. When you get into one of the later modules called Plan, you will learn more about the benefits of journaling, or actually what is called a brain dump, which is quite similar. But for now, I just want you to get into the habit of journaling if you aren't already doing it. When you build up a strong habit, you'll learn more about the practical benefits of journaling. I hope these suggestions find you well and that you follow through with creating your journaling habit. That way you can improve all areas of your life. And I also want to mention that, sometimes when we have these stray ideas in the journal, I was mentioning that we get ideas from maybe idea synthesis, which is an idea from one book or another book and then your own experience. You put all those ideas together and you make a new one. If you happen to have these ideas in your journal popping up in your sessions, when we get into the planning module, there is a strategy that you will learn about how you are supposed to take those ideas and put them into a plan. So hold out on those. Like I said, build up your journaling habit first. And then once you get to the planning module, you will learn what to do with those ideas. Okay? So now start your own journal. You don't need to share this one with me because I know that it is very private. I would like you to keep track of how many days you write in your journal or per week. I recommend using Habit Bowl, which I will link, to track any of your habits you want. I use it quite religiously. And let me know how the process goes, either through WhatsApp, email, matt@bookmatic.com, or you could DM me on Instagram because I'm on there quite often, as many of you probably know. So thank you so much, everyone, and move on to the next lesson.